Okay, so I'm gonna cover how to add ceiling lights. Now, ceiling lights are very similar to components. They are components. So it's very similar to the previous tutorial, but there's just a few other things to kind of consider and think about in how we organize and how we place them. So ceiling lights go up into the ceiling, which means we need to go into our ceiling plans or our reflective ceiling plans. So I'm on the first floor. So let's go ahead and double click. Now, if you remember, we added kind of a soffit inside here. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of place some ceiling lights in here, and then some in the recess portion. I'm going to go up to component and click on the pull down and look for my recess lights. We have pendant lights, so we could also add other lights, and we could also go into load family if we wanted to. I'm just going with recess light um, just because it's simple. But we can go into, it's actually not electrical, it's lighting. So we go into lighting, architectural, and let's say internal, and we have all sorts of different types of lighting. Okay, but I'm going to cancel, and I'm just going to stick to the regular recessed lighting. And if I can find it, oh, here we go. So I'm just going to go with a 6-inch incandescent recessed light. Now it's going to ask me what is the elevation height, okay, from the level below. Now I can't remember what height we did this soffit. So what I'm going to do is just place, I'm going to place two. I'm going to place one there, and then I'll go ahead and place another one right there because I know that they're at different heights. And then I'm going to go hit the escape key, and I'm going to move this section so that it's cutting right through both of those. And then let's go into this section so that we could see it. And it actually recognized the ceiling surface that we added because we did it correctly. And it actually just placed it. So we didn't actually have to specify the offset height. As long as you are adding it onto a ceiling, and that's important. Some of these lights you can add without a ceiling, but some of them you need an actual ceiling. So you have to install the ceiling first before adding the light. Okay. Once it recognizes the ceiling, Revit will place it accordingly to that height. Let's go back to the ceiling plan. I'm going to go back and add a few more lights. Now I will typically kind of, I'll just go ahead and kind of place them, not so much at random, but place them kind of where I want them, or add as many as I think I'm going to want. And so maybe I'll put a few more over here. Now, I'm not going to go into how to do the lighting or how to, calculate how much light do we actually need. That is an entirely different course, which I highly recommend everyone take. It is the lighting course that is offered. And there you do actual lighting calculations to figure out how much light do you actually need and how far away should your lights be from the wall. Okay. What I'm going to do right now is just simply space them out however I want to. So I'm going to, I want to place this light centered from the edge of the soffit to the face of the drywall over here. So I want this centered. Okay. The way I'm going to do that, I'm going to move this section line just so it's not in the way. The way I center items is by running a dimension line. Okay, so I'll run a dimension line from here to the center. And when I'm using the dimension, it always wants to continue. So it's not until I hit the escape key that it'll take me out. But I'm going to place it right there. And then I'll go ahead and place. So the third click is just kind of where do you want the dimension line. So I'll just click right there. And of course, it's running into. Let me go ahead and move this light. So now when I click, so now I have these dimensions, right? And it says 2 feet 2 on one side, 1 foot 10. I could do the math if I wanted to. I don't want to. So I'm gonna go ahead and just click on the light fixture. Okay. Actually, no, let's click on the dimension line. Sorry. We're gonna click on the dimension line. What I'm looking for is this EQ button that's at the top. Okay. EQ stands for equal. So these dimensions are associated to this light fixture because that's what I clicked on to create the dimension. So these dimensions are tied to the light fixture itself. So if I drag this over, you'll notice that the dimension also changes, right? Because these dimensions are attached to that. So if I select the dimension and I hit EQ, then it's going to make this equal distance or move the light so that it's equal distance from there to there. Okay. Now that it's equal distance, I can go ahead and delete this dimension. I don't want it anymore. And I'm just going to hit, oops, I should have hit OK. Delete, and I'm going to hit OK. All right. The next thing I'm going to do is, now that I have this in place, I'm going to go ahead and align all of these lights here. So I'll use the align tool. So it's AL, if I hit it correctly, AL. And remember that with the align tool, it's 2 clicks. The first click is what do you want to align to? So like setting your align, the line for the align tool. The other click is what's actually going to move. So I'm going to click here first because that's what I want to align to. And then I'm going to move the light because that's what I want to move. Now I'm going to go ahead and click on this. Oops, sorry. So again, the first click is what do you want to align to. The second one is what do you want to move. And we'll do again, 1, 2. Get one more. 1, 2. And so now that moves everything in place. And then from here, what I can do is run another string of dimensions that go from this face to there, to there, to there. I'm grabbing at this, I'm clicking on the center, to there, to there, and to there. So I'm clicking on the center of each light, and then the edges of the soffit. I'm gonna pull this out. Okay. I'll hit the escape key. I'll select the dimension line, and there's my EQ button. I want to make all of these dimensions equal. So I'll click EQ, and there we go. This is all equal now. They're all equal distance from one another. So now I'll go ahead and hit the delete key. I'll hit OK. And now what I can do, if I wanted to, I could use the align tool. Oh, save the project. I could use the align tool and align these inside lights to one another so that they're all the same distance. Right. Now I didn't add enough. You have to zoom in to really make sure to get there, to get the line that you need. I know I didn't add enough lights inside here, but that's what I would do, right? And then I would set this one and say, move my temporary dimension, just move it to this side and say, let's go, I don't know, 4 feet. And then I would use the align tool and move that and align all of these lights so that they are all 4 feet away. So again, the work kind of order is to just kind of place the amount of lights that you need, and then little by little start moving them into place using the align tool, so that you don't have to move each and every single one of them manually. You could just use the align tool and you just set one and then use the align tool and you align everything to that one light fixture. Okay. And then if you needed more, which no, I really do need more, I would just go back into component and add a few more. Okay. So I'm not going to go ahead and finish this because I want to cover the second floor. So let's go into the reflective ceiling plan of the second floor. Now let's say I want to do the same thing. I'm going to hit component, recess can, and I'm going to go ahead and click right there, and I get a warning. This warning says none of the created elements are visible in reflective ceiling plan second floor. You may want to check the active view, its parameters and visibility settings, as well as any plan regions and their settings. So it's a warning, it's not an error. So warnings we can override, errors we cannot. So in the warning, I'm just going to hit the X, and let's see what happens. I hit the escape key twice, so it added it. But when I zoom in, you'll notice that I can't click on it. And what I can click on is actually the ceiling. That's what's being selected, okay? Whereas if we go to the first floor, we can see that the opening, we could actually click on the light fixture itself, but we can't do that over here, okay? The reason for that is our view range, okay? Remember that Remember that a floor plan is at 4 feet above looking down. The reflective ceiling plan is set to 7 feet 6 looking up, but it's only looking up to the level above. So for example, if I'm on the first floor, the reflective ceiling plan is cut from 7 feet 6 from above the finished floor, and it's looking up, but it's only looking up to the floor above, to the level above, which is right here. The same is true for my second floor. Okay? So that means that my ceiling plan is cut 7 feet 6 and it's looking up, but it's only looking up to this line. And now you see where my ceiling is? My ceiling is above and it's past this line. So that means that's a view range issue. We need to adjust because we need to adjust the view range because we need to be able to see past this line. So I'm going to go back to my ceiling plan. I'm going to go about halfway down and select view range. Again, you can click on this pull out to show, and that's going to give you kind of it's a really good diagram to explain what each one of these is referring to. Okay. But what I want is the view depth. Okay. So I want to be able to see past my roof level. So right here, it's set to level above roof. Okay, that's the level that's above me. I'm going to go ahead and change this to be able to see. Let's just make sure we can see everything. So I'm going to set that to 1 foot. So I want to be able to see 1 foot above my roof level. I'll hit apply. I hit apply, and then I'll hit OK. And now when I come back, I could actually click on I can actually click on the light itself. Okay, so let's go ahead and add a few. Now there is something a little annoying with this. Let's go ahead and make it cut. That's cutting through 2. So let's go here. So you're seeing that it's cutting and it's placing these recess cans at the angle or at the slope of the ceiling. Okay, which is great. But when we go to use the align tool, you'll notice that I could only align horizontally, meaning from there to there. I cannot align vertically. Okay, so if I move my cursor around. It only wants to connect um, or reference the horizontal lines. And that's because the ceiling is at a slope and it's cutting and it's placing these reflect ceiling plans at an angle. And so the verticals are typically not recognized. So what we need to do is we're just going to go into annotate and we're going to do a detail line. Okay. We're going to add a detail line. Now, later on, we're going to actually kind of spend spend a few, spend a lecture or two using detail lines and really kind of diving into the annotate tab. But right now, we're just going to create a detail line. I'm going to come to the center of this light and I'm just going to draw a vertical line. Okay. And there's my vertical line. Now that I have a vertical line, now I could use the align tool, AL, and I could reference this line to this point. Okay. And let me undo that. Do it. Yeah. You have to be really careful because it's hard to see. Hopefully you could see that it is recognizing um, just the point, the top and the bottom of that circle. So there's this really very light, faint cyan color. And so that's what I'm clicking and that's what's moving it. Once I have that done, or once I align all of my lights, I could go back and delete. So I'll click on it and then I'll use the delete key on the keyboard to delete that detail line because we don't want that detail line placed in or being left on our reflective ceiling plan. Okay, so that's it. Those are that's what I wanted to cover for ceiling lights. Okay.